I'm Lama Pandrapa. Welcome to Mastery Dojo. We are launching a new platform called Mastery Dojo dedicated to featuring masters. Every month, we bring to you a new master of the month who will be sharing their wisdom and knowledge and offering some of their expertise. Today, I'm delighted to introduce, or perhaps reintroduce to you, Master Teresa Yeung. And this is exciting because this is a mother-daughter team. Her daughter, Jacqueline Chan, is with us as well. Thank you so much, Master Teresa and Jacqueline, for being here with us today. Welcome to Master Dojo.
Oh, it's our
Yes, very exciting to be here.
You two are well known as practitioners who have been putting forth a lot of Qigong classes, workshops, and other events. This Pure Land Qigong. Maybe you can begin by sharing what is Pure Land Qigong and how is it different from any other style?
Thank you. Pure Lands is like paradise in Buddhism. Isn't that a beautiful name? My teacher has the last name Wu. And when I come on board to do Qigong, then it feels weird to use the last name Wu because my last name is actually Yang. So I was trying to find something in between, and then Pure Land seems quite nice.
That there's a lot of Qigong teachers who are traditionally male. I'm speaking from having learned from our teacher, Master Wu, and my mom, Master Teresa. I think what is making Pure Land Qigong special is that there is a little bit more focus on transmitting Master Wu's lineage and his teachings. Also, there is an emphasis on women's health, menopause, and developing that women's community, which is kind of one of our focuses right now too.
Well, that is a different approach to Qigong. Obviously, female masters are more likely to take this path because it's relevant to them and that's what they would be able to embody. For a male master, probably would be really hard to even become a master in Pure Land Qigong, would it not?
Yeah. Well, it's all about bringing the Eastern wisdom with the Western well-being together in a school. We just love to talk more because we are women, and then we attract more women into the program. And then we also train instructors and healers and the menopause support program. It's just the woman stuff, right? But we actually have very wonderful men in the program too. So wonderful. And we feel blessed.
Can I also add one more aspect to that? Is so some of you may or may not know, I'm also a registered psychotherapist in Canada. And something else that we do, my mom has also created, is a heart qigong, not just for the physical heart, but we're really talking about our emotions, our soul, our being. And so part of this more nurturing, not that other styles are not, but part of what we do is also have classes and workshops specifically looking at emotional balance. How do we release some of day-to-day stresses, stuckness, the binds that all of us have? And how do we use Qigong to wiggle that a little bit? As a licensed psychotherapist, and also as a certified Qigong teacher and instructor here with Pure Land, I find that the two are very integrative and complementary because on the one hand, you cannot go to see your psychotherapist every day. You need to do your Qigong practice in the meantime to maintain those gains, to do that nervous system regulation piece.
How would you describe the work? How would you describe Qigong works in the context of psychotherapy? What are the applications and what are the principles of Qigong that apply to working with patients whom you would see as a psychotherapist?
So I don't know if mom wants to add a couple sentences into there.
By all means.
Wow.
She usually has some thoughts too.
I think story always help. Because what happened is when my teacher crossed, I kept crying. I saw what he's writing, I cried again. And I saw he was also his calligraphy, I cried again. Then I was thinking, how could I stop myself crying? I kept crying for half a year. And then I thought something wrong here. Because when you're so emotionally traumatized, you can't practice movements. Because the movement you can do movement, but you still cry. That's when I'm looking at it. Well, I can lead a class and people will not cry, but who's going to lead me, right? That's how it started. How do I do it in such a way other people have some difficult time that they can do something about it? It's not that they need a teacher. Can they do something in a self-help way? And that's how I kept thinking about for years. How can I do it really?
How did you do it?
I realized that in our culture, the Chinese culture, men will often put things aside and don't talk about it. The difference with men and women is women like to bring things out and talk. When we talk, we actually find it helps. So then there was thought that the Qigong class has to be talking because women talks and they don't cry anymore. But then we can't just talk in a Qigong practice. We want movements too.
So they call it Tung Fu.
Exactly. Oh, when they put the mind in Kung Fu, they will stop crying for sure. But women need to talk, right?
Women need
So
to talk.
that's when I have my time with Jacqueline, and she's so interested in the psychology part. We just know that in psychology, people go to see a therapist talking.
That's why they call it talk therapy.
Yeah, exactly. So when I do the class, if it's on woman stuff, we talk a lot. And then we do Qigong after we talk, or maybe do Qigong and then talk later. Then we put the mind into the process of releasing what you want to release. We will address it in the talk to explain what and how to release. So it's a lot of personal attention in the class because woman comes in for different issues. Men also come in with different issues. So when the man is in the class with the woman, it helps the man actually, because men may be not talking in the class. The woman may be talking and then it become like a side coaching. And that actually works well with the practice breathing in, breathing out. Really. It's not something very crazy. But Jacqueline, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I love that Lama also mentioned talk therapy, and I have found it's helpful to a degree to lower the activation of the nervous system. I also integrate somatic experiencing as a psychotherapist. It works really well in tandem with Qigong. What these have in common with Qigong is the sense of slowing down. Some Qigong forms, there is an element of slowing down. By slowing down, all these little other things start bubbling to the surface. Instead of suppressing it, pushing it away, we can actually use that in the practice. And part of that psychology piece is actually just acknowledging, seeing, and hearing that it is there.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the question then, of course, is how do you transition from talking to using the body? Somatic experiencing that you mentioned, Jacqueline, requires the body involvement, hence the name. So at what point do you transition from talking and being in the head to being in the body and moving?
That's why the heart Qigong, I put it into the book, Unlocking Your Happiness Within, Living the Life You Choose with Qigong. The whole heart Qigong practice for the emotions are put down in detail in the book. Because at the time when we have trauma, we don't even know what to do besides shut down, right? Don't see people. Pick up a book to read is perfect, right? And then you read through the process, not anything exciting. It's so simple, really. Relax each part of the body and then work on balancing different parts of the body. Most people know the chakra system. And then we just do breathing in, breathing out, really. It's not very secretive at all. And then we think about releasing energy and giving love and energy to every part of the body. So why it works is, I find the most important thing that is I'm addressing in the book, my teachings, is when we are being raised as a child, just like a baby, to walk and later on to teen, etc. All the time, we just want to make sure we are doing things right. Don't make mistakes.
Well, when we are learning how to walk, we don't even know that there's the right way to walk or wrong way.
So even walking, falling down will look weird and funny. We want not to make any mistakes because we see people have reactions when we do anything. And then we get to learn we don't want that reactions. They laugh at you or even look at you weird, all those stuff we don't want to have. So we actually form many ways of criticizing ourselves for anything we do. And then there's actually no teachings on self-love. We only want not to make mistakes, and no one tell us to take care of my brother more than me. Oh my God. Make sure they have food, right? Make sure you leave behind for other people, right? It's all about self-love, really. So you're not a good sister, you're not a good da 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 da. We only want to be accepted in the family as someone, and then looking for someone to praise and say something nice about you is like a dream. I did so many things. I'm still not getting any smile from the parents or any recognition from the brothers and sisters. So we do not know how to self-love, appreciate, or even accept ourselves. I can be different, or even approve myself. I want to do something different because they are all seen as wrong.
So you must have grown up in a culture where validation was hard to come by, and you had to struggle to get that.
Usually you don't get it. I don't even
My
remember
point
I
exactly.
got it ever. But what we actually learn is through the psychology and belief system, that is the Western teachings. I realize we do not address them in the Qigong class because men will not be talking about feelings in general. That's not part of Qigong teachings. But then,
Unless they're talking about a certain organ are associated with certain emotions.
So Lemma is different, but because it's already changing with many years of things now. You were talking about the heart qigong practice. I put into the topic of the week. Week 1 of the life heart qigong will be on self-love and appreciation. Then week 2, we work on self-acceptance. Then week 3 about approving. So every week has a topic we want to talk about, and then we do a balancing process. The other thing I do is remote scanning. I'm very sensitive to people's energy. I basically clean, no, that's a wrong word. You're not allowed to use the word clean because I'm not licensed to use the word clean. I can say balance emotions in every workshop. And I send Qi to help the process. And I give 100% guarantee that everyone leave my class will feel better than they come in. If not, I return the money. I don't want anyone have
No
my
pressure.
problem before. Because when we sad, we just say shut up, right? Anything to add, Jacqueline?
Yeah, so there are a couple of things. Most people coming into my mom's heart qigong, they're a little bit older. Maybe folks here have had some knowledge and background in qigong or have already been on their journey. Some of the folks I work with might be a little bit younger and they don't know what is this about. How do we even get in touch with what is self-love? That feels like such a huge jump. So how do we even get there if you're not even able to go, what is self-love and appreciation?
You probably break it down into baby steps. Self-love
baby
consists of.
Yes. And I do want to add, I think one wonderful thing that my mom has done is provide a space for a lot of people to renegotiate the lack of emotional nourishment that a lot of people haven't had from their immigrant parents and so forth.
Yeah.
I was one of them until my mom became Master Teresa. I also
Until
like
then,
how,
she was Mother Teresa.
yes, yes, yes. And the lovely
Uh,
thing about Qigong is we do move
yeah.
out of shutdown, right? We do kind of go into, we move, we think, we visualize, we focus, we breathe. There's always a little bit of movement going on internally, externally, which is
Yeah.
beautiful.
I wanted to touch a bit more on what Jacqueline is interested in about psychology, but it's about changing belief system, right? She's big into changing belief system. She's not just a psychotherapist. She has a different mind. Oh, the story. You want story? When Jacqueline was in high school, I was in her bedroom and I found a book. Oh my God. I found the book Biology of Belief. At that time, she already had interest in the mind and belief system. And then we just found out from my later on experiencing energy work differently. I find when people are more harmonic with their feelings, especially when they're not triggered by affirmation, right? Affirmation means a lot than just affirmation. Say, I always love and appreciate myself unconditionally, it would be wow thing. But when we are triggered by even talking about it, then you could have owned it already. But oh, say I am fat. Oh, I'm not fat, then the word will have no trigger on me because I'm not fat. But a person in the room, the word fat will all of a sudden have a trigger. So all those trigger is because there's a belief system about fat is not a good word for that person, right? Means someone's looking at you as fat. So belief system is about changing how you see yourself. Oh, what's wrong with you? Your hair today. Oh, the person has lots of hair, will not think about much about it. But if a person doesn't have hair, to start losing the hair will have a lot of feelings about just a sentence coming out from nowhere. But these are all belief systems. They can be organized that I will not be triggered by another person talking about hair or weight or food or anything. Because my mind has been organized, they are good word for me. And then we can address that in advanced level of my teachings. Because it's about changing how we see those words and then go through subconsciously how to organize them differently. And I think that is very funny. Oh, I can attract money.
Wonderful.
No, you can't attract money. No, you can attract money. No, you cannot. We have a lot of voices in our head. They can be organized by psychotherapy work with Jacqueline, right? But then the other thing is we sometimes just want to work on things ourselves, right? We want to do it ourselves. And then the Heart Qigong program gives that chance of working on yourself. So you can play with what you want to do, with what you want to believe. The process can be very personal. You can start from a 3 workshop first. And then if you find it really click with you, then so it's a journey of a new direction.
In order to change belief system, two things need to happen. One, you need to be dissatisfied with your current belief system because you recognize that some of your beliefs do not serve you very well. And very few people connect the dots between the cause and effect well enough to recognize that. And secondly, if you want to replace the old belief system with something new, you need to have an idea what your new belief system should be. And very few people have an idea what they want. They may know very well what they don't want, but what they want, and especially what kind of beliefs they would need to have to achieve what they want. How do you help people discover that for themselves?
I spent over 10 years on this subject. Actually, from 2006 to now, because I find how I always like to know how can I shorten the path. I'm really lazy. Can I make it faster? I find if I don't have the thoughts to stop me, then I'll just do things faster. So it's all about why the thoughts come out. There's so many thoughts coming out. That's when I have to understand psychology. So I'm so glad Jacqueline actually really got herself licensed in psychology, and she can explain better in the terms in psychology what is her mother doing.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. People don't have the connection to know, oh, I believe so and so, because it's part of their norm. It's part of your habits. I shouldn't feel upset at this. I shouldn't do it's like it's automatic. So most people don't have that awareness to notice even what it is.
Yeah, it's
I
like fish doesn't know that it's in water.
totally agree.
How do you help people recognize that some of their beliefs may be undermining their success or their health or their vitality, and do it in such a way that they would accept that new discovery? They would not reject it outright and say, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, so get
Yeah.
lost. Instead, they would actually have some introspection about it.
Yeah, that's the first thing to help, because we are not doing one-on-one session. When we do one-on-one session, it's very easy to identify. But when we are doing a group session, the challenge is about everyone in the room has different things they are triggered. So you cannot just work on every one issue in a classroom. That's why for me, a Heart Qigong process is going back to the basic of life. Well, the basic, basically, can you love yourself more? When you love yourself more, you're willing to make a change.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about how you would help people love themselves more? Because obviously, if it was
Okay.
that easy,
Oh,
everyone would be like, oh, I
so
need to love myself
yeah.
more. Okay,
No.
done.
So when we are doing the Heart Qigong class, that's why there are 3 classes. As I said, one class, basically 2 hours, we are actually working on the subject self-love. So lots of talk about this topic of self-love. And then everyone come to the agreement it's good to love themselves, right? We all come to the agreement. If not, there's no class anymore. They have to agree. So that's why they come to the topic. They want to improve on the self-love. If not, they won't even be in the classroom, right? I balance the energy in the classroom to allow the process to happen. I do have magical chi. I blast and then change, just like that. It's about energy coming in, energy go. You just give the good energy, then the negative will go. All the negative thoughts have their own vibration. So I give the high vibration, they change. They must change. There's no other way. They
So
must change.
your
Yes.
belief system is such that you believe in good energy and bad energy, or positive, negative,
Oh, not
negative.
bad. It's just not the right vibration.
Ah,
Everything vibrate differently. They
yeah,
all
yeah.
have their own hertz, right? Everything has their own vibration. But I'm
Hmm.
not trying to work on everything in the workshop. We're trying to work on self-love, right?
Can I add something here? Maybe the more appropriate word that people relate to is not self-love, but most people can understand being hard on themselves,
Oh,
being very self-critical, or even self-sabotage. These things almost every single person is aware of. When you've told yourself, I was stupid, why did I say that? Why didn't I do something different? These are things that people can recognize. The workshop is recognizing those things.
And once you recognize them, then you help people connect the dots between the cause and effect, and you help them recognize that by doing this self-criticism, they are shooting themselves in the foot.
Mm. Hmm. Hmm.
Because if you are the one who's doing self-criticism,
yeah,
nobody's doing it to you. Maybe you learned it from someone in
yeah,
the past, but at the present
yeah,
moment, you're
yeah,
the one who's doing it. So how's
yes.
it working for you?
There are different people
Hey,
expressing themselves in the classroom because we talk, right? And then we'll have different insight and they will be inspired with different people's contribution. And then at the end, it will all work out.
These self-critical parts, they're actually there not because they're bad. This is not a part of us that we hate. These have served us for so much of our lives, have gotten us those straight A's, those working hard, sacrificing our health to get this kind of money, this and that, or whatever. Those self-critical parts have helped us become who we are. But at this point in our lives, we realize they're no longer helping us. So part of that process of the self-love and this heart qigong is to love those parts too and recognize how have those served us and helped us. And just appreciate and validate. And then as we love and validate, we can lovingly release it. We can lovingly say, is this, or that part could even be like, is this part, do you still need me? Huh. And,
So in
and
other
that's
words, is that under some circumstances, these tools can be useful and appropriate. It's just not all circumstances call for the same tool set. You need to use different tools under different circumstances. And if you use the same tool under all circumstances, as they say, if hammer is the only tool you've got, you'll be treating everything as a nail. And that's essentially how most people operate, stick to their guns and use the same belief system, the same mental framework applied to everything. And what you're talking about essentially is developing more nuanced approach where you can appreciate certain traits or capabilities, certain beliefs, but you don't have to fly that flag all the time.
Yes. And I want to add, and I think my mom can add to this, is we always say qi is love, right? The way that we and I've experienced qi and really feeling it, not just a movement, it feels like benevolence, it feels like support. Qi is love that we can use to also love these parts of ourselves, and they don't fly with us anymore. We don't need to use it.
Thank you, Jacqueline. We want to help the world now in so many chaotic things happening. And then at the end is people need to love each other more. Instead of talking about qi, then I will remind people actually qi love. So you're trying to energize yourself, qi, but you can practice qigong because you love yourself, really. It is also loving. We understand people also have other things like shadow work, inner child work, and I study all of those things. Everything can be organized with different techniques to be removed. I did a lot of that kind of training too. But at the end, we know that if people love themselves a bit more, then everything works better. Health will be better, sleep will be better, to be less nervous. So the Qigong practice is offering the slower, more quiet space for people. I find that people in the Qigong practice are better quality people, better quality in a way they're more calmer in their mind. What I actually find is because the cultural difference is there, and then able to speak about and acknowledging our feelings require talking. I allow a lot of talking in my class because I'm a woman and I attract a lot of women. They all need to talk. The woman's talking, the man is not talking, but they still have the man by not talking. It's so funny.
Well, I do talk a lot. The reason why I talk a lot is because I want to help people uncover what is underneath the layer of consciousness. It's like I often use the metaphor of the iceberg. Yes. And of course, the tip of the iceberg represents what we know about ourselves and our world. And the huge bottom part of the iceberg is much, much larger, maybe 10 times as large compared to the tip of the iceberg. That's what we don't know about ourselves. That's hidden beneath the conscious level of awareness. And that's where most of our human potential resides. That's why we call it potential, because it hasn't been actualized yet. That's where most of our dreams and aspirations come from, as well as resources that we need to tap into in order to manifest those potentials. How do you help people who realize they want to change their beliefs to discover the new beliefs that they would want to change to from the old one?
The first thing is they do not need to look for new belief first and just work on the basic. The most basic is go back to love. If they don't even can love themselves unconditionally, there's no reason to go anywhere at all because everything based with love. So when everything is vibrating in the love frequency, everything in life works better, whether it's physically, financially, works better. So just
Absolutely.
return to loving ourselves, right, Jacqueline? Eh?
I don't always use the word self-love in my work with a lot of people. It seems too
Oh,
abstract.
it's a difficult word to use. Yeah.
I think what I like about Qigong is it's a felt sense. It's a felt sense of what is love. It's a felt sense of okay. And this is different for every person, right? I want to say for every single person, it could feel like a softening in their heart, relaxing of the shoulders, a yawn, just leaning back. So all this just like a softening that you experience in the Qigong practices that we all experience. That little bit of space, that is the opening of what this flow of what this love thing is, or forgiveness, letting go.
The question was then,
Mm.
if you don't talk about self-love and help people have a somatic experience of softening or opening, is it associated with a new belief system?
I can add to
It
that.
is, of course, it's new. So
Mm.
so the other thing we also just want to address is first of all, there are 4 levels of learning and growth. I talk about it in one of the World Tai Chi Qigong Summit. People, first of all, they may not be, they don't even know they have a belief system to change. And we would just say consciously they are incompetent. They don't even know. Then they will become consciously, what we say, working on themselves. Then they become more competent because they understand from your teaching they should be doing that, right? So they already improved because you pointed it out, or they read a book or something happened, they just figure out they actually is not competent. But there's no awareness, then you cannot start the journey, right? And then after, say, Lama pointed out to them, so they can work on it. But then unconsciously, they are not competent. It's only conscious that they're working on it can be competent, or consciously they're working on it is still incompetent. So at least they know, right? So from not knowing, they at least know, right? There's lots of steps there. They don't even know.
There's 4 steps.
Yeah, they need a teacher to tell you you're not. And then later on, you work on it. Then when you try to work on it, you still cannot do it, right? So they keep growing. At the end, when you're all good, then you don't have to do anything anymore. You got it. You're always competent. And then it doesn't need to be conscious or unconsciously. You're there. You're completely there.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory. And I can't say that I subscribe to this theory because
You're doing it already. You're already
every
doing it.
master that I've ever spoken to admitted that they haven't achieved the pinnacle of development. There's plenty of room for improvement, no matter how many years you have of experience or how consciously or unconsciously competent you are. There's always room for improvement. If you become aware of how much room for improvement you have, and often people say masters are the ones who know more about how much room there is for improvement than most others. That means that you continue on the journey of mastering your art. You don't stop, you don't rest on laurels, you don't just proclaim, okay, I'm unconsciously competent. Now I've reached the point of mastery. This is the end of my journey of mastery. That sounds preposterous, and I don't think anyone ever said that.
Well,
Or if they did, most likely they were not masters.
No, this is actually psychology. Jacqueline would be studying it in school.
Yeah, Jacqueline, do share.
So yes, this is a theory, but I also agree with what you're saying, Lama. If you're masters, there's usually a true humility that comes with mastery of there is so we're like spirit and not physical. And then there's even more places to grow. I get what you're saying. Going back to your first question, when we're able to identify the softening and so forth, there is a little bit of a belief change. I don't think of it as, oh, let's jump to this belief change overnight where I love myself forever. It's a process. If it took 20 years of this ingrained habit, but there's a wiggling that stays with you. When you experience that first loosening and that wiggling and that softening and this, oh, wow, this is what we call trauma informed work, just a little bit of that 1 or 2% change, 1 or 2%. That in itself is huge. That 1% adds to another percent, adds to another percent, and it deepens. A lot of the people that have been following my mom for so many years, if you talk about belief changes, things change quite quickly, right? Because the Qigong, it's already kind of wiggled that little, we call it a bind. I should do this, but I want to do this. I love myself, but I hate myself. I love myself. Okay.
Love-hate relationship with oneself.
Right. Or maybe those are too strong of words, but I feel guilty and then I feel happy and then I feel shameful and then I feel joyful. This is being human.
And having the variety of experiences makes life more enriched. So we don't want to stop feeling,
Exactly.
to experience these feelings. We don't want to identify with them that this is who I am, because that gets us stuck.
Right.
That's the identity that is hard to shake off when you're talking about the wiggle room or a certain loosening. Identity doesn't have such a strong grip on us. But it's one of the things that a lot of masters talk to me about after conferences where I would make presentations or talk at panel discussions. They would be like, look, you're talking about identity change. We don't do that kind of things in Qigong.
Yeah.
I say, well, maybe you don't.
There.
I do.
Yeah, so that's why you're different, right? What you're helping is very important because people don't even know there's a need to do something. No awareness, really. But then I sometimes will point out to people, did you not hear people have a car accident and then they have 3, 4 in a row? That actually is relating to belief system. You created that energy that you come. Because the belief has to be broken. So they happen many times to tell you there's a problem there. Did you know there's a problem? You don't get it. It get repeated by the gift of universe to tell you it happened again because you didn't get it. You didn't learn the lesson. It happened again. You didn't learn the lesson. You met someone terrible. You had a hard time. You still didn't change. So you had the next one. It happened again. Then you have another one, horrible one. You didn't change enough. It could be they might have the problem of not loving themselves. It could be so simple. That's why they keep on have to attract people that don't love them into the life to support them to realize there's a pattern there. People talk about pattern change is also can be relating to my heart Qigong process. Is that at the end, why do I attract people that don't appreciate me?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, go ahead, Jacqueline.
Some people here might be like, why would you listen to this little girl? I'm in my mid-30s, but I did grow up with Qigong since I was about 6 years old. Is when I was first introduced to it during the tea stand and the Yang style Tai Chi, all those things. And I also went away from the practice. I had my own challenges, realizing I was gay when I was in high school in this Christian church. You can't Qigong enough to change your belief system when you're told you're going to go to hell for who you are. Going back to the Qigong practice in the future and psychotherapy, it really helped to loosen this identity, the beliefs and the shame and the guilt attached to certain pieces of who you are. Qigong helps with loosening because Qigong is just energy, spirit, it's soul, and all that kind of stuff.
We need all kinds of different teachers in our life that do different teachings, So from one, we go to another one. We learn from many, many teachers, really. So I would just say whatever resonates with the student at the time, then it's perfect, right? It's just perfect.
Well, speaking of that, would you share with us a little bit more about your Heart Qigong program? Maybe some of our participants would be interested in diving deeper into it.
Thank you. I do the 3-time class a few times a year. It's very heavy class, really. About 2 hours work on self-love and self-appreciation. That's the first class. Then I give them a 1 week rest. and they come back the second time to go a little bit deeper. Can you think about accepting yourself? It's a huge thing. Accepting you are fat, you lost money, accept you're crazy, you're stupid. Oh, accept what you are. It's huge, right? I always wish people can just accept, but they can always accept. It's starting a little wiggling, as Jacqueline was saying. And they have another week to rest and process. Then we can go a little bit more to integrate everything together one more time. And then we have a fantastic balance at the end. Life can be a lot easier when you love, appreciate, and accept, and then give yourself permission to do things, really. Then maybe I think it's perfect for the new year. Some people have great knowledge and experiences in life. They just need to do something about themselves. Maybe they just need a permission. So the Heart Qigong can give that permission.
Perhaps that's the program for the folks who need some permission, who need some validation, or better yet, learn to validate themselves so that they don't have to seek validation from everyone else.
Yeah. Because after the 3 weeks, they also learn how the process work for them. And then they can start being more creative and then do something different. But then they have to understand, is it possible? Or is it not possible? So through the weeks, they understand it's possible. And then that is already shifting how they see themselves about what they want to do. Yeah, I can do it. Not next year. This year is the year, not next year, this year. I can do it this year.
Yeah, and often people have doubts not only as to whether something is possible, because if someone's teaching it, probably it is possible. Someone's done it before. But is it possible for me?
Because during the class, they already felt that before and after that is possible. They already been confirmed at the end. They can feel energetically, they change, completely change. They actually feel their own belief already after the class. Spent 2 hours on one thing, really. So, and then after that, they already understand they can change. Start to believe they can change. It's very powerful about thinking. I don't just think I'm gonna fail, think it's possible. And the Qigong offers that. I find that people already doing Qigong can integrate these things faster than other people because you already learn how to be at peace with yourself. So everything works fast.
Since 2009, when I started my podcast, The Secrets of Qigong Masters, I've been practicing asking good questions, but right now we are wrapping our call. Let me ask you a little bit more about your program. How much is it? And when is the start date?
Oh, I have the date of February 11th. It's a Wednesday at 8 o'clock Toronto time. That's ET. And how much is a 120?
It's a very affordable program that covers 3 weeks, and it gives you ability to connect with your heart. Who wouldn't want that?
One thing I think is very important. I guarantee my work. When you leave the classroom, you feel horrible. I don't let you leave. I'm gonna work on you. I don't want anyone to leave unhappy because it's not what a Qigong master should be doing. Should take care of the people in the classroom. So we'll find time to understand why it's not, or it's very difficult. But I'm sure that people, if they want to join our class, they are already that kind of person ready for this. They just need a little bit more to get what they truly deserve to have. Right?
Oh, it's a satisfaction guarantee.
Exactly.
That is wonderful. I don't think I've heard of any Qigong masters offering satisfaction guarantee.
Because I'm a woman, right? This woman wants everything.
So you have a mothering instinct. You want to help people out, and if they're not happy, you don't let them go home. You keep on healing them.
Doing this kind of work really is about giving love, because in my path, I had a very traumatic life. I have tears and tears many times in my life. Very difficult. At the time that's difficult, you only know how to just wipe the tears and continue your path. But you don't learn anything about how to release stuff. You store them up. In 2016, I realized I was storing things up. I was triggered, and then all of a sudden I just cry, and where's the tears coming from? I just realized it was very old tears. I was storing them up. And then what do you do with it? You do the heart qigong process at the time. Then reclaim your energy then, if you actually know. It's not put it away. It's deal with it, and then reclaim. That's what psychology is about, right, Jacqueline?
My mom does a lot of energy healing, and for me, I've done a little bit more of the mental emotional pieces, and combined, it's quite powerful. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Well,
an honor.
Heart Qigong program where people learn more about connecting with the energy of the heart, with their own emotions, but most importantly, developing some degree of mastery of their own self-love and self-appreciation and acceptance. I think that is the most important thing. I just want to thank you very much for sharing that message. It's a very important message.
Thank you, Lama. Thank you, Master Teresa.
Oh, I am Mother Teresa here.
You've been watching the interview with Master Teresa Yeung and Jacqueline Chan, a Canadian psychotherapist. And I look forward to seeing you again in 2026.